Okay, so let's get on to probably the most important part of the presentation is the report that's issued by us. It's what the customers want to know and what they're paying for is what's going on with my equipment. So let's get into it. So these are once we go in and measure the partial discharge, we will assign and do the analysis. We'll assign a level. Level 1 and level 2 is basically you're good to go, really, no discharge, and you probably should maybe retest within 2 years to make sure that that's still the case. Once we get to level 3, then we have a concern. Now, level 3, no action is required, and if it stays a level 3, again, no action is required. You probably want to just keep monitoring this, test every year, and make sure your level 3s are still level 3s. Once they progress into level 4 or 5, the only difference between level 4 and level 5 is time of failure. Okay, you have more time with the level 4 than a level 5. All right, but it will fail and it does need to be addressed. This is the probability of failure that we were discussing for level 3, 4, and 5. It's from NETRAC, it's an independent agency out of Georgia, and they've taken statistics from the last 15 to 20 years, basically from utilities, to get these probability of failure rates. The colors are a little different than I just showed you, but level 3, if you look, time of failure after 2 years, the probability is 3%. So again, if you have a level 3, that doesn't represent a problem as long as it stays a level 3. Once you get to 4 or 5, the probability of failure increases. As you see, the probability for level 4 is 18% after 2 years, and 5 is 89%. So if you have a level 5, you're going to want to take some action on it right away. So this is the report table, and again, we report not just the cable, but the accessories as well. So let's go over this eye chart. It's I know this is hard to read, but I'm going to show you something here in a minute that's easier. But this is part of the report. It has the test date, has a lot of information on it. It has the test point, switch gear. This goes from equipment, from where we tested from, and then to. This was switch gear 401 to a junction box 402. Remember, we talked about phases. We tested these phases individually. That's because it says A. If there was A, B, C up here, we would have tested all 3 phases together. The length was 895 feet. Insulation type was cross-link polyethylene. Conductor, single core conductor, aluminum. Conductor size, jacketed concentric, yes. Direct burial, operating voltage, and vintage. Okay, a lot of information, but this stuff over here is what you really want to know. Okay, what's the condition of my cable? What's the condition of my switch gear? And what's the condition of my junction box? And for this, it's all level 2, which if you remember, it's good to go. No problems whatsoever. Maybe retest in 2 years. All right, let's go down to this one right here. And we have cable level 3. So what are we going to do? Well, we're not going to do anything except probably retest it in a year to make sure it's still level 3. But over here at the accessory 2, which happens to be switchgear, we have a level 4 PD. And so what are we going to do? Well, the first thing we're going to do is read these notes. And then what it says is termination signals observed, refer to figure 12. So we're going to go to figure 12, and there's going to be a lot of information and a 3D chart and also a recommendation on what needs to be repaired. And, whether it's a termination needs to be replaced or inspect the termination, open up the switchgear, look for visible signs of burn marks, whatever, there'll be a recommendation. All right. And the from, obviously, level 1, no PD at all. So let's get it go. So let's go down to one more. And what do we got here? Uh-oh. We have level 5, level 5, level 5. Uh-oh. And it's our cable. Okay. and we have level 5 in all 3 phases. Okay, so I'm going to ask a question. What are the chances of having a level 5 PD in all 3 phases at one time? And I want to answer the question. The chances are slim to none. So why does this report say all 3 phases have a level 5 partial discharge in them? Well, if you remember, they're RF signals, so they're going to propagate. So since these 3 cables are connected, if one of the cables has a level 5, we're going to see it in all 3 cables. So that's what's going on here. So the next question is, how do we determine which phase it's in? Well, if you remember back to that chart I showed you that said amplitude is inversely proportional to distance, which basically means the further we get away from the PD source, amplitude and frequency will decrease. Well, when we take a reading here, whichever one of these is screaming the loudest, meaning whichever the amplitude and the frequency is highest, that's the phase that it's going to be in. All right? So the answer is yes, we can determine which phase it's in. That's why all 3 of these are level 5. All right? Now, the next question is, what do you do after you determine one phase of a 3-phase circuit is bad? And usually 99.9% of the time, the answer is they replace all 3 phases. So do you need to know which phase it's in? We can tell you, but usually it's all 3 phases are replaced. Okay, so that's the eye chart. Now, what I want to show you is something that we developed, which is a one-line drawing with all the information that I just gave you in a one-line drawing. So here is your level 2 cable, your level 3 termination, your level 4, and down here is your level 5 A, B, and C. All right. So our customers really, really like this one line. It's really easy to read. And if you notice on our level 5 cables, it says intense insulation discharge from cable. Go to figure 13. When you go to figure 13, he'll state that, and he has this line drawn to phase B. And the reason why is that he's saying that the defect is most likely in phase B. Cool stuff. All right, so I've got a couple case studies. Actually, I've got 4 case studies, but I won't go over all of them. I'll just go over a couple. We had a utility. We identified a 600 amp T-body as a level 4. There it is right there. And we diagnosed it at a level 4. Now, this was a utility, and utilities don't usually call us up and say, you were right, our cable blew up. But we had a good relationship with this one, and they actually sent us some pictures. They had scheduled this T-body to be replaced, but they didn't do it soon enough. Remember, the probability of failure is 18% in 2 years. Well, this level 4 transgressed into a level 5 rather quickly, and it failed in a little over 3 months. So they sent us that picture. Okay, one more case study. This is a refinery. Actually, Martin was on this job. They basically had performed we had performed an assessment of it. What it was is they had spliced in a 3-cord cable to a single cord cable, and then they had forgot to ground the single core, I believe, and which resulted in a different ground potential. And you can see what happened here. Both the copper tape shield of the cable and the ground wire had a lot of damage. So, all right, I won't get into the other ones. Just let you know a few of our customers. And then a quick summary, and I'm done. So the advantages that we talked about, of course, reliability. That's the main goal here. Also to avoid unplanned outages, which cost us a lot of money. Always. Again, no outages are required, and allows you to prioritize your maintenance and replacement, which is important. Again, it's a complete cable system assessment, not just your cable. And because it's online, we can do more cables per day, which means it's cost effective. And we also can verify craft work. So if you put in a new asset, say cable termination, put a new transformer, and you want to verify the craft work's done, we can verify that as well. Another advantage to online testing. I do want to mention that we are not just a testing company. We are a monitoring, testing company, a global leader in monitoring in medium and high voltage. Some of the monitors we have is Falcon, which is primarily for medium voltage, Falcon 2, which has more channels and is rack mountable, and then the IntelliSol line, which is really good for low voltage temperature and humidity sensor, and then when you get to medium voltage, it also adds PD to the list, and we also can do temporary monitoring, analysis, and reporting on your assets as well. So we're a complete company. If you have any questions at all, or you want further information, this is my phone number, my email, and if you want to peruse our website, here's our website. And with that, I appreciate your time. I hope the webinar was informative. Thanks again.